What's up, y'all? One Piece One Life here, and guys, boy was I right. See, in the last chapter review, I said that last chapter was relatively more chill because it was going to be a setup for this chapter for Oda to just go completely ham with something new reveal, especially because it was likely going to be the last one before a break. And boy, did Oda go ham. Cause see, last chapter, it was more so focused on Loki and we got basically nothing about the God's Knight that had just arrived. This chapter, basically the opposite. I'm getting ahead of myself. This is going to be the chapter 1142 review. Before we get into it, guys, please do something for me. Like the video, subscribe to the channel for more One Piece content just like this every week, and share it around with all your friends who love the series. You know we always say here, let's get it going. My channel's been really high flying lately and I would like to keep up that upwards trajectory. And make sure you subscribe to me and my boys over at CSY. You already know that we're doing our thing. Now the chapter is titled The Things I Find Scary, and when I reflect on why, wow does it make sense. But coming to the cover story, we finally have Yamato reappearing for the first time in what seems like maybe a month or two, and she's essentially just charging up a Thunder Bagua and one-shotting Who's Who. My whole thing is like, we all knew that this was gonna happen. We knew where it was going to, but we didn't need to have 4 chapters of setup to get to this point. We could have told that it was gonna happen the moment we saw that it was Who's Who. But whatever, Yamato saved the sword, the girls, and OT on page 1. Cool. So the chapter starts up back at the Walrus School, and some of the kids are just terrified, frightening, and calling for their teachers. At first we don't understand what's happening, and then we see that there is literally a giant snake just standing in front of them, slithering in front of them, something in front of them. And one of the kids literally says it is Jormungandr, the snake that'll end the week. Obviously it's spelled like end the week, like the weak people on ELBAF, or the, you know, the non-warriors. But there's also a pun there with like end the week, weekend, because another person goes on to say weekend, you mean like Saturday? No. So one of the teachers is telling all the children to get back into school while they ward it off with the stick and then go and call the other teachers. By the way, while we're still on this section, can I just mention, why does this snake look devious as hell? No, look at it. This smile is actually like fear-inducing. I understand where they're coming from. Like, this snake looks like he's trying to do more than just eat them, if you know what I mean. And I hope you don't, but I'm scared if you do. So then we cut to the staff room where the staff are kind of like assembling to go and deal with this snake problem, wondering if this is one of the snakes from the realm of the dead. So we've officially entered the part of ELBAF where Oda is going to start giving random side characters name cards. So we're introduced to Mr. Breed, or maybe Braid, and he's the mathematics teacher. Miss Anji, who we already know, is the librarian, but also the language arts teacher. And then we get this guy called Mr. Kiba. Now he's the principal of the school, but something's going on with his appearance. Like, maybe it's a bit too on the nose, but he has these really long walrus fangs, and obviously Kiba in Japanese means fang. Did anyone else think that this was a Zoan at first? Because the two possibilities are either that he's a giant but with like a walrus Zoan, which wouldn't be crazy, or he for some reason just has fang attachments that he puts onto his regular teeth, and that's odd. But I mean, hey, I can't blame him. He does what he wants when he's as strong as he is. Because we're soon gonna see that he's actually a former member of Dorian Bragi's giant warrior pirates. So outside, the snake is like raring to go and start eating the children, but that's when Kiba pulls up with a hammer and just smacks it across the face. But then we get Sol, Jaguar D Sol, running along a path, jumping into the air and coating his arm with armament haki before using final exorcisation and slamming the Jormungandr on the top of the head, crushing it into the ground. This is insane. We got Sol named attacks now. It's getting out of hand. A lot of people will be like, whoa, what the hell? Sol became strong out of nowhere, but you have to remember, Sol is a vice admiral in the Marines, or at least back when he was a Marine, he was a vice admiral. And we know for a fact that everybody who's ever attained the vice admiral position has armament and observation haki, because that is a requirement, minimum requirement to be of that rank. So you have Sol and Kiba just talking to each other a bit, trying to figure out what's going on, and then that's when it's revealed that Chopper and Robin are actually just hidden within Sol's beard. To me, this is actually hilarious because they didn't try to help at all. There was nothing going on, and I mean, fair enough, what were they supposed to do? But we say that, but then there's Monster Point and Demonio. So as everybody's just thanking Sol for their help, we then hear that Mr. Wolf, something has happened to him. And as we head inside the school, we see that Mr. Wolf, introduced as the PE teacher, is tore the hell up. I don't know what happened to him, but he looks like he's seen better days. Keep in mind, all he says is that he's alright, but the kids, for some reason, they just took off in one direction and none of them responded to anything he was saying, they just left. We get no context for how he got so beat up. You would assume that one of the God's Knights did it, but I feel like he would have said that. And also from what we see later on in the chapter, it seems like they're not like literally in the school. And then there's this like really weird 2-panel section where one of the kids is like, oh, you're friends with that Luffy guy, right? To Robin and Chopper. Robin is just like, yeah, I am. And the kid just almost like starts shuffling away. And Robin's like, did he do something to you? Like, I don't understand what's going on. And I'm not gonna lie, Robin, I don't understand either, because what is this kid going on about? I don't even think that this is the kid that Luffy was trying to fight when he and Zoro were here, so what's going on? As Saul rushes off to go and help the children, Wolf just says, oh, by the way, Saul, please, whatever you do, don't touch them. And at first it made me think, well, maybe it's because they're the ones who beat them up, but like under some like hypnosis type thing. But no, I think the reason he said that is because, as we see, and as Robin and Saul and Chopper sees, is because the kids are sleepwalking in a direct line. Now they've all fallen asleep, but we also see one of Gunko's arrows pointing them in the right direction, or at least, well, the direction that Gunko wants them to go in. My initial thoughts here was that if Gunko's power allowed her to also make them fall asleep on top of that directive, it would be too overpowered. So I think it's a combination of Gunko's direction ability, but it was somebody else's ability to actually make them fall asleep. And I immediately connected it to Killingham because he's always falling asleep. He's narcoleptic. So then the teachers are like, all right, listen, we need to sound the horn. Everybody's got to be on high alert because look over there in the forest, it's some more monsters. I thought, wait, maybe this might be some sort of like magical beast or some sort of monster conjuration ability, and maybe that was Summer's power. Then as we cut away from this section briefly, the last thing we see is that the kids are still actively passing out and none of them know what to do about it. We then cut to the realm of the dead where, if you'll remember, Loki is free. He literally tells the rest of them, did you really think that just by having this one sea stone shackle still on, I wouldn't be able to move? I can mess all of y'all up and not even use my devil fruit to do it. And he threatens them. He says, if you care about keeping ELBAF alive and safe, you better take this thing off of me or it won't be pretty. He then tells them, and by the way, you may want to hurry up because everybody knows what happens when flames and ELBAF mix. They don't. So then Loki raises Ragnir, the giant hammer. It crackles with what looks to be electricity and then slams it onto the side of the tree that he was previously chained across. Striking it at that point summons thunder and lightning from the sky. Lightning rains down at the point of contact and literally just causes the forest to erupt into flames. Then we just get a little part about how the party is essentially stopped because they're telling, yo, Elder Ja, it's bad right now. That's all we get from this group for this chapter, but whoa, there's a lot to talk about. Firstly, thank goodness that I can tick off the Mjolnir weapon part on the ELBAF bingo card. And crazily enough, guys, this early into ELBAF, that is already giving us our first bingo. Now, I haven't exactly determined what I'm gonna do for bingos, so if you have any ideas, please drop them in the comments. I would like it to be an award for like all of us, but mostly for y'all. Also, we're not done just because we got one bingo. Let's just see by the end of the arc how many we can complete. But just on the topic of the hammer itself, it can literally wield lightning. Now, I don't know if this is some magical property of it itself, or maybe if it has some sort of devil fruit power or something, because we know that objects can eat devil fruits. But essentially, wherever you strike or direct the hammer, lightning follows. Which is what you think of when you think of the classical Thor from like Marvel and the MCU and stuff. Also, shout out Thigh Florist Flora under JD Legends video about this chapter that I was also commenting on. Because essentially what we were talking about is that this is just Loki's mind in Thor's body. So then we cut back to the school and Anji is telling Principal Kiba and Sol that, wait, I actually know where I've seen these before. And essentially what happened is that we get a flashback and it shows that earlier in this day in Anji's class, the kids were describing and drawing pictures of what they fear, what makes them scared. One kid says that Nika is the thing that frightens them the most. One kid says that it's Fenrir, the great wolf. You get ghosts, Droger, a storm, Neohugger, Jormungandr. Some kid is just like my mom, which is a very muscle man from regular show thing to say. And then Ylva, probably one of the like suck up kind of kids in the class, basically tells Anji, you know, Miss Anji, this kind of stuff is gonna kind of give me nightmares. It's making me scared. Anji's just like, yeah, it's true that it can make you scared, but you know, it's important to visualize these things because it shows off your own unique personality. And as the three of them look into the distance over the forest, we just get a massive spread of a bunch of monsters just basically blotting out the sky, with Anji stating that this right here is their true nightmare world. And y'all, this is actually insane. I was so perplexed. And it's at this point that I realized somebody's power must be nightmare based magic. manifestation or fear manifestation. And then as I suspected, it is indeed Killingam's power, because as we cut back to the God's Knights, Somers is telling him congratulations. Also, side note, Killingam is a really annoying name to say, so I'm gonna try and find a nickname for him. Okay, wait, I found one. He kind of looks like Drampa, which is a Pokemon from the Alola region. So you know what? You're Drampa from now on. I'm never saying Killingam again. So Drampa is just like, yep, that should do it. It should be good enough, and I'll let up my power once all the kids have safely been escorted out. He then wonders, do y'all think that the grown-ups will be able to get them back safely? Somers is just like, yee ha 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 ha. You know, to love is to inevitably hurt another. And then he just kind of looks over at Gunko and he's just like, yo, Gunko, what are you most afraid of? And after pausing for a bit, the last thing of the chapter, Gunko just says, Nika. And that's the end of the chapter. Break next week. So y'all, this was absolutely phenomenal. I love seeing the God's Knights in action, and I'm so interested in the machinations of how this power works. Now, I was very quick to say, oh my goodness, Drampa has the fear fruit, and it's a Delphoid ability, a paramecia that allows them to, make people fall asleep and then manifest their fears as actual constructs. And that would have been so cool, but that's when I remembered Drampa already ate a devil fruit. Based on his appearance, it's pretty clear that he ate the mythical Zoan Kirine fruit, meaning that it's instead the mythical aspect of the Kirine fruit that's allowing him to do this, instead of it just being its own fear fruit. Which personally, I actually would have preferred if it wasn't a mythical Zoan. Guys, I'm sorry, but Wano has tired me out of Zoans, probably for the rest of the story. Give me back the good old days feel of just random powers. And then you have why Gunko is afraid of Nika, because this is weird too. I mean, it could be because she's a member of the Celestial Dragons, and Nika represents, fighting against their authority, so you wouldn't want to liberate everybody. But part of me was like, you actually fear this enough to be the answer to that question? There's something deeper going on here. And I'm extremely invested in what's going on, but unfortunately, guys, it is going to be a break next week. But that's okay. I have a really good Zoro video planned, so definitely keep your eyes out. What did you think about the chapter? And what are your predictions for the next chapter? Make sure to let me know all that good stuff and more in the comments. That's the end of the video, y'all. But before we go, like the video, subscribe to the channel for more One Piece content just like this every week, and share it around with all your friends who love the series, or anime and manga in general. Remember, I'm trying to build a community, but I need your help to do it. That's gonna be all for me. I'll catch you on the next one, and always remember, One Piece, one life. So if Killingam is really Drampa, I wonder what all of the other Pokemon representatives in the One Piece world would be. Or better idea yet, what if each person in the One Piece world just had Pokemon-like stats, a type and abilities and moves and stuff like that? Is that something y'all would want to see? Because I could really make that a series. It wouldn't even be that hard.